In this video, we will be using an RGB LED to use it with an Atmega C28P microcontroller. We will be using AVIA C code, not an Arduino code. We will be using AVIA C code to use the PWM feature of the microcontroller and to drive the RGB LED. And looking up to the datasheet here, you can see on moving on to the pin diagram here, pin configurations, you can actually see the pins in which you have an OC marking. OC actually means output compare. So the pins which have an output compare register associated with it are marked as the OC. You have OC1A, OC1B, OC2A, OC2B, OC0A, OC0B. So you have the 6 PWM channels inside the Atmega C28P microcontroller. All these PWM channels are controlled with the timers. Atmega C28P have 3 timers. Timer 1 is of 16 bit and timer 0 and timer 2 are of 8 bits. We will be only using timer 0 and timer 2. We will be not using the timer 1 today. We will be only using the 8-bit timers today. So you can see here, I think you can probably guess that each timer has 2 PWM channels associated. Timer 1 has 2 PWM channels, timer 2 has 2 PWM channels and timer 0 has 2 PWM channels. We will be only using the 4 of them today. We will be not using timer 1, therefore we will be only using timer 0 and timer 2 PWM channels. Therefore we will be only dealing with 4 PWM channels. Therefore you can now directly move on to the timer 0 with PWM. Move a little below, you can actually see about the output compare register, the output compare unit. This is the 8-bit comparator continuously compares T count 0 with the output compare register OCR0A and OCR0B. When T count equals OCR0A and OCR0B, the comparator signals a match. A match will set the output compare flag at the next timer clock cycle. The corresponding interrupt if enabled, the OC flag generation output compare interrupt. Therefore, this thing can be properly understood if you can look at the timing diagram here. So let's move on to below. We'll be using the fast PWM mode. We'll be using the fast PWM mode here to drive our RGB LEDs. So the thing will be clear if you can look at the timing diagram here. You are filling the output compare register with a certain value ranging from 0 to 255. Since all these are 8-bit registers, you are filling a value from 0 to 255. So suppose you have set the output compare register to the peak value 255. So the timer will start counting from 0 to 255 and then it will overflow again. And since the compare value is the peak value, therefore the output compare register, the pin associated with that output compare register is at the always at the high state. And suppose at this stage, suppose the OC0X is now filled with a value such as 200, and now if the timer reaches 200, the state of the pin here goes to 0. Then it turns on high again when the timer starts counting again. And again you can see here you have a further low value here. Suppose this is a 150, so it will start from 0 to 150 and then the pin will go down again. At the point of time when the timer counter will start counting from 0 to the value written inside the output compare register, the state will be high, and when the match occurs, this will turn low. Again, this is a further low value. This is suppose 50. So if the OC0X is now filled with 50 value, it will start counting from 0 to 50, and then it will turn on low again. Up to 0 to 50, the state was high, then it has turned low. So basically the thing is that you are just varying the duty cycle here, you are just varying the on time here. Since this is the peak value, you have set the peak value into the output compare register, therefore you are getting 100% duty cycle. And as you have filled here a low value in the output compare register, you are now reducing the duty cycle here, and you have also set a further low value, so the on time further reduces and the duty cycle reduces. And this is the way to achieve the PWM. So you are achieving the varying duty cycle by entering different values into output compare register. You just need to set various values at the output compare register to get various varying duty cycles to achieve the PWM signal. So I think this timing diagram is actually clear to you. This diagram is actually very much important to understand this theory. Also then you can read all this theory here. You can understand the better by reading the theory always. And the PWM frequency can be calculated by the following equation: f clock IO, which is 16 MHz in my case. N is the p scalar divider. I will be using 64 p scalar, and entering all these values you can get the PWM frequency. Now you can directly move below to get the register information, which is the most important thing. Also you can have the other PWM modes like the phase cut PWM mode. That can be homework for you. You can read it yourself now. But now we will be dealing now directly with timer control register A, TCCR0A. Just as we said before, timer 0 has two PWM channels, OC0A and OC0B. Therefore, so for these two output compare registers, you can have these two groups here: COM0 A1 and COM0 A0 and COM0 B1 and COM0 B0. These two groups for the two output compare registers. And we will be using the fast PWM mode. We will be using the clear OC0A compare match set OC0A at bottom non-inverting mode. We will be using the fast PWM non-inverting mode. Fast PWM non-inverted mode. That's why we will be setting the COM0 A1, COM0 A1, and similarly for the other PWM channel, COM0 B1 will be set here. Now actually comes the WGM waveform generation bits. Actually you have the three bits associated with it: WGM01, WGM00 and WGM02. Actually WGM02 is at the timer control B register. At timer control B register you have the WGM02. This is the waveform generation bits. In the waveform generation bits, we will be using the fast PWM mode. Therefore, we will be setting WGM01, WGM00. See here, WGM01, WGM00. We have set here fast PWM non-inverted. These bits are not for our purpose right now, since these are for a non-PWM mode. Only focus is the WGM bits and the COM0 A0, COM0 A1, COM0 B0 and COM0 B1. Also this is the clock P scalar. This is the clock P scalar in which you can set the P scalar here: CH00 and CH01, clock IO by 64. These two we will be set in our code, CH00 and CH01. So all these things are to do with the two PWM channels associated with timer 0, OC0A and OC0B. And for this you can have the COM0, these bits, the COM0 A0, COM0 A1 and the COM0 B0 and the COM0 B1. We will be using this mode here, clear OC0A and compare match. And the waveform generation bits you need to set it into a fast PWM mode and set the clock P scalar, and that's all. That's the thing we have done here. We have talked about that we had actually 4 PWM channels, 2 for timer 0, 2 for timer 2, and therefore on selecting case 0 and case 1 we are dealing with timer 0, and on case 2 and case 3 we are dealing with timer 2. We are dealing with timer 2 for case 2 and case 3. The thing is that for timer 2 you have the same register description. Just in place of 0 you need to place 2 and nothing else. Just in place of 0 you need to place 2 and you are done. See here, for timer 0A, TCCR 0A, WGM01, WGM00, COM0 A1, and see here OCR0A is fed with the num value, which is the parameter. It can vary from 0 to 255 since this is an 8-bit register. Therefore, as per the value it will receive, as per the value we will be setting into the OCR0A, the duty cycle will vary. For 255, 100% duty cycle. For num equal to 0, you can have 0% duty cycle, and that's exactly clear and simple here. Simple thing here. The D6 and D5, you can see here the D6 and D5 are for the OC0 and OC0B, and that's what we have set these pins as outputs here. And the set pin function is nothing but just to set these corresponding bits as outputs by entering into the DDR-B register. Nothing complicated. And for the timer 2, actually, just as I said before, in place of 0 you need to press 2. Just in place of 0 you need to press 2. Also here OCR2A, OCR2B, WGM21, WGM20, COM2A1, COM2B1. Actually these numbers can confuse you a lot while writing down the code for the first time. Also when I'm talking you may get confused. This 2010 A, B. You need to actually keep a calm and clear mind and keep a track of all what you are doing, what you are writing, actually what you are reading, and just keep your mind a little bit fresh and calm and clear. You can write the code and you can understand what I am doing here. At the first setting, the prescaler is the thing which you have done, and then as per the pin we have chosen, means the channel we have chosen, and the num, which can vary from 0 to 255, we have a switch case, and then entering the num value into the output compare register, and that's all for this code. And now comes the int main, the main function, and we have actually used the random function. Random function is actually defined in the standard library header. You need to include this header and then define this rand max to 255. You need to define this rand max so as the compiler can understand the maximum value it can achieve, the random function can achieve. The random function can achieve a value from 0 to 255 if you properly define this statement. This is very much important here. So this rand function will just generate a random function, a pseudo random number from 0 to 255. We have used an RGB LED, therefore at the first we will be using the red LED to test the random function here with the PWM function just as we defined here. Then we will be using the green one, then the blue one, and then all together to generate a random color. So let's upload this red one first and let's see the output here. As you can see, the code is uploaded and the red one is flashing at a random rate here, at a random PWM duty cycle. So now commenting this one and uncommenting this one, the second channel will be directly building here, and then after uploading, let's see what the output becomes. So here the blue LED with a varying duty cycle. Now time for the green one. Again commenting this one and uncommenting this one, saving that, build the solution and then upload it. You can now see the green one. Now uncomment all of them so that all these LEDs can glow at a random value defined by this XYZ, and let's save this code, upload it. So let's see the output now. As you can now see, you can see random color flashing. You can see the random color flashing on this RGB LED. Each of these LED is protected with a 100 ohm resistance. So our experiment is successful, our PWM experiment is successful, and you can see now here the random colors. So this was our experiment was successful. Now you can generate your own custom defined colors for your application, and this code will be posted in my GitHub account so that you can download and tweak it as per your requirement. Understand this PWM feature very well so that you can build your own code, understand the code fully, and you can also use the phase correct PWM mode as a homework for you. This PWM feature is quite handy to use. For my example, actually I have you can see I have used only the 3 channels here out of the 4 channels. I have used 0, 1, 2. Also you can have this number 3 case here, which will use the D3 pin. I have not used here since this is not necessary for this RGB LED since it has only 3 pins. So anyway, you can now use a servo motor to drive your servo head from which can rotate from 0 to 180 degree as per your defined PWM value. So thank you for watching this video. Please like, share and subscribe this video, and please hit the notification bell. We will be coming with further more microcontroller videos. You can have a full playlist, the link given down in the description below. Thank you.